Welcome back to Thinking Cap. In this one, I'll be discussing my brand new midfielder meta as well as my updated defender meta spreadsheet ahead of double game week 32. Let's get into it. Starting with the midfielder meta, guys, and I'm recording this just after the Arsenal Champions League quarterfinals first leg against Real Madrid, where they smashed Madrid 3-0. Massive result for Mikel Arteta. Congratulations if you're an Arsenal fan. I mean, that must have been an absolutely incredible watch. But as you can see on my tier list, on my graph, by the way, so players with a green icon means they are on penalties, and players are ranked from top to bottom within their price categories. So the first question you might have is, where are the premiums? I'm not including any premiums on this midfielder meta just because I want to focus on the players below, because I think these players here are really the ones you're going to be targeting this week. Now, I don't have Mikel Merino or Declan Rice on the spreadsheet, and I do have Odegaard, but honestly, I would say absolutely avoid all of the Arsenal midfielders just because, okay, they won. I think honestly, let's be real, guys. 3-0 is very hard to turn around, especially against a defense like Arsenal. So I'm assuming they're going to go through against Madrid. And with that assumption, are you really going to be picking them up for Brentford at home, which is a definite danger of mass rotation for Mikel Arteta? So I wouldn't be recommending picking up Arsenal midfielders. But if you do have Saka, I think it's fine to hold on to him, just unless you're bench boosting, of course, then maybe you would look to go elsewhere. But ultimately, I don't think look at the Arsenal defenders this week, just because this is the game that's sandwiched between both Madrid legs. But either way, let's move on. So we have that first price category, which includes Mbeumo, Odegaard, and Bruno Fernandes. Now, Odegaard's had a slight rise just because of the double game week in 33, and obviously, as a United fan, I can tell you absolutely stay away from our players. We have Lyon this Thursday in the Europa League. Now, Wolves is a good fixture in 33, but then we have Bournemouth. We don't have any doubles coming up, so I would just really avoid Bruno. Odegaard is an interesting option, but as you can see, he's just basically lost free kicks to Declan Rice. He's not on penalties anymore, so another avoid. And Mbeumo is probably the one here I would really consider. I consider Mbeumo as the strongest root support asset in the game. He's playing for 90 minutes every single week. He's on penalties for Brentford, and he's taking one of the sides of corners for Brentford as well. So I just think he's an absolutely amazing asset. I think he can do well against a rotated Arsenal in 32. Brighton at home is a good fixture. 34 Forest away is not that good, but after that run, I think he has United, Fulham at home. Then he has Ipswich or Leicester away, and then Wolves on the game week 38 final game week of the season. So honestly, Mbeumo I think is a really good option if you're struggling to find any midfielder you like. Do consider going back to him. I mean, look at the returns, 22 GA this season. Very impressive from Brian Mbeumo. Now, in the next category, obviously we have Anthony Gordon there. Now, we don't know, let me discuss the three injury doubts kind of on this tier list. So we had Kluivert's been injured for 2 game weeks now. Gordon's been injured for a while. He was back available from suspension against Leicester, but he wasn't even in the squad. And then we have Anthony Elanga, who went off at halftime against Aston Villa with some sort of muscle injury. Now, do not sell or buy any of these guys until Thursday, Friday, which is when we're going to start to get some press conference information to see how fit they are, because I actually reckon I've heard a few things on Kluivert, and I do think he could be fit very well, could be fit for that Fulham game, considering that Fulham game is also a Monday night kickoff. So I think Kluivert's going to be okay. And honestly, in my position, I'm an Elanga owner. If Elanga's out, I think Kluivert's somebody I would consider just because he really fits my chip strategy of bench boost 32, free hit 33, and then I need that player for 34. So Kluivert's somebody I'll consider if he's back available, but ultimately do not touch any of these 3 players until they are cleared. Diogo Jota is an interesting player, 7.2 million, only 10 returns for the season, but the next 3 fixtures are good. Unfortunately, I'm just not really confident. I don't think in him. I'm not very confident in Liverpool's attack. I think having Mo Salah is absolutely enough from that Liverpool team if you can go elsewhere, which I do prefer. I think Eze is excellent. If you still have a Palace spot left, he's in great form. I think, yes, the Man City away and Newcastle away in the double are tough, but I still think he can do well. I think him and Mateta can do well on the counter-attack. Gibbs White, as long as Chris Wood is out, he will be on penalties for Nottingham Forest, so he has a little bit of of added value, and I do think he's someone to consider, but I really like Mitoma for my strategy. Leicester at home in game week 32 and West Ham at home in game week 34. Two really good fixtures. Brentford away is not that great, but I still think he can do well in that fixture. But for me, if I go to Mitoma, I'm obviously free hitting in 33, so I don't even need him. But I think Mitoma is a decent asset, somebody you should consider. I've obviously got Bruno Guimaraes. Rashford, Asensio, I wouldn't be touching them just because, again, UCL rotation. Please stay away from these Champions League assets. Arsenal, Villa, do not touch them right now. Sabazai is also there, but for me, in this price category, it's either Eze or Mitoma, maybe Gibbs White with an outside shout, but without Chris Wood, I'm not too confident on their attack. In the lower price category, obviously, we have the Murph God, who's been absolutely insane. He's on 16 returns with no set pieces, no penalties, nothing. 16 GA this season, absolutely insane. If you need a Newcastle spot, a cheap guy, I would prioritize him over the likes of a Gordon or a Bruno Guimaraes, who I've gone for. Obviously, just got slapped by a lot of points from Murphy, so consider Murphy. I think he can do very well in the double. Other than that, I think Sarr's a good option. Rodgers, I'd probably dodge Rodgers just because of potential rotation, of course, but he's still a good option. Minte, look, I think Minte's good. However, I just think Mitoma's minutes are a little bit better. Historically, I also have more trust in Mitoma as an asset than I do with Minte. So if you really do need a midfielder, look at the Brighton attack. I think they could get a few goals away to Leicester. Otherwise, make sure you have the doubling teams. Make sure you get some Palace. Make sure you get some Newcastle. And yeah, let's move into the defender meta. Okay, so before we dive into the defender meta, it's time for our sleeper pick for game week 32. That's one player under 10% ownership each week, and unsurprisingly, this week's choice is a Newcastle asset, Fabian Schär. Fresh off a price rise after scoring 10 points away to Leicester in game week 31, Schär is in a great position to deliver again in the double. With Lewis Hall sidelined, Schär is actually really well placed to rack up a few bonus points if Newcastle do keep a few clean sheets in the double game week. The last center back we recommended before double game week was Everton's Tarkowski. He returned 17 points in double game week 24. So Schär isn't just some random punt. He's a proven goal threat. He's known for his long range efforts. He's excellent in terms of expected minutes and availability, especially amongst Newcastle defenders. He's also a key target on attacking set pieces, and he could even have a small share of penalties. Newcastle's double game week includes two huge home fixtures for them. If they have to pick up points, they absolutely have to pick up points if they want to finish inside the top 5. And with Manchester United playing away to Lyon on Thursday before heading to St. James's Park on Sunday, I mean, this just looks like a very favorable setup for Eddie Howe's defense. If you have an open Newcastle slot, I'd really consider Schär. He's a great option. Into the defender meta now, and obviously we have 3 categories here. I have also gone and collected the expected points for all of these assets from game week 32 to the end of the season to see kind of who the projection models are recommending in those positions. And in that top price category, Saliba is obviously preferred. Arsenal are the best defense to invest in right now, but I've actually given him a drop just because rotation is likely against Brentford. Gvardiol has gotten a little rise, 2 clean sheets in the last 2, got some bonus last week as well, but I am expecting Crystal Palace to score. So if you are in that top price category, if you're, not too worried about picking up doublers for game week 33, I would look at Virgil van Dijk, who I think is the safest out of all of the Liverpool defenders. I mean, if you own Van Dijk, you basically own the whole Liverpool defense, and he did score against Tottenham earlier this season in the Carabao Cup knockout stages. So I think the fixtures do look decent for Liverpool's defense, but obviously they haven't been very impressive. I think, look, if you need doubling players for game week 33, maybe go for Gvardiol. I think I'm just a little bit biased as a United fan, but for me, I don't see him keeping a clean sheet at home to Crystal Palace. And in my personal plans, I have Van Heck. Maybe some of you guys have Gabriel, an injured Gabriel. I would consider Virgil depending on what your strategy is. Otherwise, Gvardiol is a good option. In the cheaper price category, we've already talked about Schär. I really like him as an asset. I think he's a massive differential, but so is his teammate Kieran Trippier, who was on a few free kicks, although he blasted it over. He is taking a few corners as well, so he has that dead ball share, which is really important. It's nice to have in a double game week, and I would consider him because he did start away to Leicester last game week. So he has the double, then Villa away, which isn't great, but then he has Ipswich at home in 34, which is a blank game week. So I would consider the Newcastle defenders. I think Livramento offers really, really great value at his price point. I think Burn is also good. Livramento just probably pips him for me just a little bit. But ultimately, I think Livramento, Trippier, Schär, all three of them excellent assets. Munoz is the only Crystal Palace defender I'd be considering at the moment. Guehi was sent off against Brighton in the M23 derby, and I believe Lacroix might be suspended for game week 32 because I think it was a concussion substitute. But let's see, we're going to get more information on that. But ultimately, Munoz, look at those returns, 18 defender returns this season. Absolutely crazy output. So make sure you try to get him in your team. I don't care if the fixtures are tough. He's so attacking. I think he's an absolute must own in double game week 32 and potentially double game week 33. Then you've got more Liverpool defenders, but ultimately I think Robertson, if you can pay that premium, he probably does offer a little bit more in the last few stages of the season. His return trends at the end of the season are also really strong. I think he got returns against Tottenham and West Ham last season in the end of season run-in. So his return trends are pretty strong. He's one to consider. I'm just a little bit worried about the minutes. Timber, again, stay away from Arsenal. Guys, I'm telling you, rotation is going to hit against Brentford this game week. Milenkovic, look, I really love the Forest guys. Nico Williams down at the lower price category. Oh, I accidentally put him at 4.9. He is, I think, 4.4, 4.5 in the game, but him and Milenkovic are two really great assets. Elsewhere, if you wanted to go differential, I think Estupinian, Dunk are two to consider, but I think also Nori actually is a good option because if you're targeting that 34 game Leicester, he could definitely get a few returns there. So I think Estupinian, Dunk, if you're on a strategy like me, free hit 33, but otherwise, if you're looking to target doublers, hit up a Munoz. If you don't have Gvardiol, get him soon. And I think that is basically it. If you guys have absolutely any dilemmas, let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this one, drop a like, hit subscribe, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Peace.